"90 seconds to midnight. Doomsday clock will be updated tomorrow to determine our fate as the Israel-Hamas war rages on and climate disasters continue to wreak havoc on the planet." Hello and welcome back to Focus. I know it's not our normal type of topic, but it's going to be our topic today. And you know what? It's a really interesting one as far as I'm concerned. So stay tuned. Okay. So the Doomsday clock will be updated tomorrow to determine our fate as the Israel-Hamas war rages on and climate disasters continue to wreak havoc on the planet. The clock was set forward last year, signifying humanity is close to annihilation. But humanitarian catastrophes since then means it could move forward again. Is humanity doomed? We'll find out tomorrow as the Doomsday clock, a symbolic clock which edges closer to midnight to reflect human-made global catastrophes, is updated for 2024. Since last year, the Doomsday clock has been set at 90 seconds to midnight. But Mail Online predicts it will get closer to midnight as the Israel-Hamas war rages on. The conflict in Ukraine shows no sign of ending, and climate disasters continue to wreak havoc. Here's everything you need to know about the Doomsday clock before it's updated tomorrow. The Doomsday clock is a symbolic timepiece showing how close the world is to a human-made global catastrophe as deemed by experts. Every year, the clock is updated based on how close we are to the total annihilation of humanity, midnight. If the clock goes forward and gets closer to midnight compared with where it was set the previous year, it suggests humanity has got closer to self-destruction. But if it moves back further away from midnight, it suggests humanity has reduced the risks of global catastrophe in the past 12 months. Some years, the hands of the clock are not moved at all, as was the case in 2021 and 2022, which suggests the global situation has not changed. The clock is set by the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists, a non-profit organization based in Chicago that publishes an academic journal. Although symbolic and not an actual clock, the organization does unveil a physical quarter clock model at an event when revealing if and how the hands are moved. After the unveiling, the model can be found located at the Bulletin office in the Keller Center, home of the University of Chicago Harris School of Public Policy. Apologies. When is the Doomsday clock updated? Every January. The Bulletin of Atomic Scientists reveals its annual update to the Doomsday clock even if the hands have not moved. This year, the organization will reveal clock hands at 10 a.m. Eastern Time or 3 p.m. GMT on Tuesday, January 23rd, during a live stream event. Speakers at the event will include Bulletin President and CEO Rachel Bronson and science educator Bill Nye, known in the US for his wacky experiments. I'm sure you've heard or seen him, or your kids have told you about him. Mine have. It will be live streamed on the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists YouTube channel and website, so you might just want to check that out. Interesting fact for your kids, you make them grow to know better. Mail Online will also be covering the announcement live, so make sure you check back in tomorrow. When was the Doomsday clock created? The Doomsday Clock goes back to June 1947, when US artist Martil Langsdorff was hired to design a new cover for the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists Journal. With a striking image on the cover, the organization hoped to frighten men into rationality, according to Eugene Rabinovich, the first editor of the journal. The Bulletin of Science Atomic Scientists, June 47, featured Harold C. Urey, an alternative cause for the control of atomic energy, Austin M. Bruce with the Atomic Bomb Casualty Commission in Japan, Yoshio Nishina, a Japanese scientist, describes destruction of cyclotrons, Sylvia Eberhardt, how the American people feel about the atomic bomb, War Department thinking on the atomic bomb. Harrison Brown, the world government movement in the United States and the Senate debates Mr. Lilienthal's confirmation, and the books by the UN Atomic Energy News. This was the cover. It came amid a backdrop of public fear surrounding atomic warfare and weaponry. Just 2 years after the Second World War ended, Langsdorff initially considered drawing the symbol for uranium before sketching a clock to convey a sense of urgency. She set it at 7 minutes to midnight because it looked good to my eye, Langsdorff later said. On the cover of later issues in subsequent years, the hands of the clock were adjusted based on how close we are to catastrophe. In 2009, the bulletin ceased its print edition, but the clock is still updated once a year on its website and is now a much anticipated highlight of the scientific calendar. Who decides the time? Shortly after it was first created, bulletin editor Eugene Rabinovich decided whether or not the hand should be moved. Rabinovich was a scientist, fluent in Russian, and a leader in conversations about nuclear disarmament, meaning he was in frequent discussions with scientists and experts all over the world. After considering the discussions, he would decide whether the clock should be moved forward or backward. At least in the first few decades of the clock's existence. When he died in 1973, the Bulletin's Science and Security Board took over, made up of experts on nuclear technology and climate science. This has included 13 Nobel laureates over the years. The panel meets twice a year to discuss ongoing world events, such as the war in Ukraine and whether a clock change is necessary. When were the hands set closest to midnight? In 2023, the hands were set at the closest they have ever been to midnight, 90 seconds, as humanity entered a time of unprecedented danger. The change was largely due to the war in Ukraine and Russia's threat of using nuclear weapons against Ukraine's allies. The Mail Online predicts the clock will get closer to midnight as the Israel-Hamas war rages on. There's a picture with smoke bellowing over Khan Yunis in the southern Gaza Strip during Israel bombardment on January 18th this year. Prior to 2023, the hands were set the closest they'd ever been to midnight in 2020, 100 seconds to midnight. It was because governments around the world were faced with two simultaneous existential dangers: nuclear war and climate change, with them finally acknowledging it. Anyway, when were the hands furthest away from midnight? In 1991, following the end of the Cold War, the Bulletin set the clock hands to 17 minutes to midnight. The end of the war saw the US and the Soviet Union sign the Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty. This meant that countries would cut down their nuclear weapons arsenal, reducing the threat of nuclear war. Will the Doomsday Clock reach midnight in 2024? When it's updated tomorrow, the clock won't reach midnight, as this would mean humanity is at the point of total annihilation and self-destruction, the precipice. However, it's very likely the hands will move forward considering the current conflict between Israel and Hamas, and the fact that the war on Ukraine still hasn't ended, now coming up on its second anniversary in February. In 2007, the bulletin began including catastrophic disruptions from climate change in its hand-setting deliberations. Climate will likely play a part in decisions this year, as scientists have repeatedly warned in the past 12 months about the course of the world heating up. Now, I can list what time it was for you going back the last 75 years, but I'll save that for the thoughts and facts section if you're that interested. But in the meantime, once again, thank you very much for staying tuned and tuning in to another episode of Focus. Like I said, there's a lot going on in the world, and sometimes we just need to take a moment to slow down, and we just need to take a moment to focus. And right now, I think is definitely one of those moments. Once again, have a great day, and if you're not having one, you still got plenty of time to turn it around. Take care. Hey, once again, thanks for sticking around for the thoughts and facts section. And like I said, our history is pretty vast, and we're making it pretty vast. So in the grand scale of it all, I'll try to keep it brief. So I'm going to start with a few small facts, short facts, might sound a bit repetitive, of what the Doomsday Clock is, and then a small excerpt of its last publishment in 2023. So, as of January 19th, 2024, the Doomsday Clock is 90 seconds to midnight, the closest it has ever been. That, if you wanted to know what it is today. What happens if the Doomsday Clock reaches midnight? The Doomsday Clock is a symbolic timepiece showing how the world is to end. Midnight marks the theoretical point of annihilation. Apocalyptic threats could arise from political tensions, weapons, technology, climate change, or pandemic illness. And with the new arrival of plastics as a problem, who knows, that might get added to the list. What does 90 seconds to midnight mean? On January 24th, 2023, the clock was moved to 90 seconds, 1 minute 30, before midnight. The closest it has ever been set to midnight since its inception in 1947. This adjustment was largely attributed to the risk of nuclear escalation that arose from the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Is the Doomsday Clock valid? The Doomsday Clock is set every year by the Bulletin's Science and Security Board in consultation with its board of sponsors, which include 10 Nobel laureates. The clock has become a universally recognized indicator of the world's vulnerability to global catastrophe caused by man-made technologies. Okay, so small exit. A time of unprecedented danger. It is 90 seconds to midnight. This year, the Science, or 2023, and Security Board of the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists moved the hands of the Doomsday Clock, forward, largely, though not exclusively, because of the mounting dangers of the war in Ukraine. The clock now stands at 90 seconds to midnight, the closest to global catastrophe it has ever been. The war in Ukraine may enter a second horrifying year. With both sides convinced they can win, Ukraine's sovereignty and border European security arrangements that have largely held since the end of World War II are at stake. Also, Russia's war on Ukraine has raised profound questions about how states interact, eroding norms of international conduct and that conduct that underpin successful responses to a variety of global risks. Now, the reason why I read this short excerpt from the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists is for the fact that I don't think they pictured or envisioned a second year of this, but here we are, almost at the anniversary in February. And not only that, we have got the conflict in Gaza, in Palestine. I'm going to be honest, I've tried to stay away from this. If you listen to anything I've done in relation, you'd know that all of these wars are completely unnecessary in my eyes. From any point of view, taking lives needlessly and meaninglessly as this is incomprehensible. But needless to say, I digress. The fact that it's already at 90 seconds to midnight shows that everyone on the planet should be concerned or alarmed, or at least a little bit wary. Yes, it's not a physical representation, or there is no actual physical representation now that it has gone online. But it's a symbol, as it said, of how close we are as a species. The only one, as far as we're concerned, out there on any other planet out there in the universe. To my religious believers, fans, listeners, to you, we are all that is. And in that regard, this should alarm you even more. Because if this is all and we are all that is, our leaders all over the world are definitely hell-bent on taking us down into that hole where we cannot climb out of. Maybe they may be able to on our backs, but that's a whole nother story. With the emergence of all of these plastic pollutants as well, forever chemicals, it's another encroaching, how would you call it, red tide, or let's say black death for people in the UK. It could be the verge of the new bubonic plague. In America, it could be like an entire new breed of hate. Either way, what these two wars have represented in the past years on the global scale, the way they have affected everything, from the cost of goods to the cost of electricity, water, heating, clothes, everything essential to our well-being, to life, our children. With little regard, as far as I'm concerned, from the people who need to set policy, set change, who need to set an example. Come tomorrow, I hope that it does not move forward, although the chances of that not happening is slim. The fact that a conflict in such a small area as the Palestinian region, apologies, needless to say that, again, a country of considerable army strength, military might, is picking on, I'm going to say it, what is a weaker, needless to say, military regime or country, even though Palestine isn't granted that full extremity, or courtesy, I should say. On the world stage, what this represents is humanity's lack of pure understanding of reasoning and rationality. Yes, they have, in all of these wars, there have always been diplomatic relations, and there have been talks trying to either set the record straight or justify their actions. Either way, none of these things are going to stop people dying. None of these things are going to bring water to these people, or heating, or food when they are dying. And as always, I don't mean to bring that downer on the mood, but it is the reality that we are facing. It's like all corners I turn to, it's almost like the world is crumbling. We are falling deeper and deeper into that hole where the only choice so many of us have is to crawl out on the backs of others. And everyone is too concerned about themselves to think to work together. It reminds me about a study I read of once, where everyone was told to write their names on a balloon, and that each one of those balloons would be thrown into a room, and that they would have to go into the room and try to find their balloon amongst hundreds of other people who took part in this study. The first stage, everyone ran in trying to find their own balloon. It took them a very long time, needless to say. No one had the very obvious idea of doing something very simple, which was calling out the name of each balloon they picked up, rather than throwing it away in trying to search for their own. When the researchers redid the same test, everyone found their balloon in minutes. The time it took them to solve that problem working together was mind-blowing compared to the time it took them to solve it alone. Right now we have nations, governments, people working towards a common goal, but no one is actually working together. We need to unify. We need to come together. We need to make a change for our children's future. Not just our own, not just our sake, not just our own country, our planet, Earth, humanity. We are not black, white, Cuban, and Asian. We are not from different nations. We are all from one planet. We are all one species. We are all human. And we all need to take a moment to focus. Once again, thank you for sparing me a moment of your time. Sorry to take so much of it, but you know what? As I always say, Earth is amazing. Not just the people, not just the places, but what we can do with it, what we have done with it, and what we have yet still to do with it. Let's not destroy this beautiful, green, lush planet. Our home, all our homes. Take care. For links to the articles, check out the episode description. If you want to leave a comment, check out the trailer description for the email address. For topics like these and more, check out future episodes. Like I said, the world is an amazing place. There's a lot going on, and sometimes we just need to take a moment to focus.